Okay. A, B, C, D purchase a gift worth rupees 60. A and B pay half of the average of what C and D are paying. B and C pay average of what A and D are paying. If each of them pays an amount that is a distinct even number, what could be the maximum average amount paid by B and D? Now, not a very difficult question. I'm sure many of you will form equation and do it, and that is where I have an issue. There's a question where some of the things you can probably cut down on your equation significantly. Let's look at these two lines. A and B pay half of the average of what C and D are paying. Okay, let's just look at this line first. A and B are paying half of the average of what C and D are paying. So can I not say A plus B is paying 1/4 of C plus D? Okay. Look at it again. If you form the equation, what would it say? A plus B is equal to half of the average of C plus D, which is the same as this. Now, while you can form an equation, do it. This should be very, very simple and straightforward, because if A and B are paying half of the average will be 1/4 of C plus D. Okay. So what does this mean? This means if A plus B is equal to 1 rupee, then C plus D are paying 4 rupees. Or what does that mean? A plus B is 1/5 of the total and C plus D is 4/5 of the total. So what is A plus B? The total we know is 60. That means A plus B is going to be 60 by 5 and C plus D is equal to 4 by 5 of 60, which is 12 and which is 48. Now this is what you could have done orally. What I have taken about a minute and a half to explain through equation should have been a 10, 15, 20-second task if you understand the logic very, very clearly. Okay. So the first thing is, we have established that if A and B are paying half of the average of what C and D are paying, that means A plus B is equal to 1/4 of C plus D, or in other words, A plus B should be equal to 12, 1/5 of the total, and C plus D should be 48, which is 4/5 of the total, or the ratio of A plus B to C plus D should be 1:4, and which means the total is going to be 5, right? Now, with this concept in mind, let us look at the second part of the question again. Okay. Second part is B and C pay average of what C and D are paying. What A and D are paying, sorry. That means B and C should be half of A and D. Okay. That means B plus C should be half of A plus D. Or what does that mean? If B plus C and A plus D, if you look at them, if B plus C is 1, A plus D should be 2. It should be double, and the total has to be 3. Or A plus B is 1/3, B plus C is 1/3 and A plus D is 2/3 of the total. Okay. Now, my expectation is that you should be able to do this orally rather than form equation, because every time you have to form an equation, you will end up spending a lot of time. Okay. So now let's look at this question. Okay. So A and B pay half of average of what C and D are paying. This means A plus B has to be 1/5 of the total, which is 12, and C plus D has to be 4/5 of the total, which is 48. The total in any case is 60. Second part, B and C pay average of what A and D are paying. That means B plus C has to be 1/3 of the total, so it has to be 20, and A plus D has to be 2/3 of the total, which is 40. Okay. Now, what do we want to find? What would be the maximum average amount paid by B and D? If I want to maximize the average, I want to maximize both B and D. So B and D have to be maximized is the critical thing out here. So start making cases. If I have to maximize B, then I will want to minimize A. If A is 0, B is 12. Okay. But can A be 0? Go back to the question. Each of them pays amount that is a distinct even integer. So 0 is ruled out. So A equal to 0 is ruled out. The minimum value possible for A is going to be 2. So 2, 10. But if B is 10, C will be also 10. But the question says that A, B, C, D have to be distinct even numbers. That means this case of 2, 10 is incorrect. Next case, Let A be 4, B be 8. The next best scenario, if B is 8, C will be 12, A, B, C are distinct, and if A is 4, D is going to be 36. So A, B, C and D are distinct, no problem at all. So the maximum average is going to be B is 8, C is 36 by 2, 44 by 2, 22. Okay. Now I am again repeating, the key was here. If you have to form equations to take care of these two lines, then it is going to be a 3-minute question. If you can do it without forming the equation, just on the basis of understanding, this becomes something like a 45 seconds to 1-minute question. Okay, a fruit seller sells kiwis at the rate of 20 per piece up to 60 pieces. For every additional piece, he allows a discount of rupees 2 per piece on the whole lot. He sells in multiples of 10 only. What would be the number of pieces sold so that his revenue is maximized? Now again, there is a temptation usually for such question to form an equation. When the choices are there and there is nothing called a none of these or cannot be determined, so why should you not just check the choices? The best approach for this question is going to be check the choices. What we need to remember is 60 pieces means price is 20 rupees per piece. If it becomes 70 pieces, the price will become, it has gone up by 10 pieces, so price will go up by 2 rupees per piece. So 70 into 18, 18 into 16, 19 into 14, 100 into 12. Okay. So this is the simple calculation you need to do, and whatever is the maximum, that will become the answer. So what is 18 into 7? 18 into 7 is 70 plus 56 is 1260. 70 plus 56 is 126, so 1260. 18 into 7 is 7 into 10 plus 7 into 8. Similarly, 16 into 8, 16 into 4 is 64, so 16 into 8 should be 128, so 1280. Wrong choice. 90 into 14, okay, it will be 900 plus 360, again 1260. We are looking for the maximum value because you want to maximize the revenue. So the choice 3 also becomes wrong, and D is 1200. Again incorrect. The simplest and the fastest way to do such a question, if there are choices in front of you, is to verify the choices rather than form an equation. However, if this question was a theta, then you would necessarily need to form an equation. Okay. So if you have to form an equation, what would you do? The quantity will be 60 plus, okay, 10x or 10 into n, let's say. If n is 0, it is 60 pieces. If n is 1, it becomes 70 pieces, and so on. And the price will be 20 minus 2n. For every 10 extra pieces, the price will come down by 2 rupees. So if n is 1, that means 60 plus 10, 70, 20 minus 2, 18. Okay. So what is the revenue going to be? Revenue will be equal to 60 plus 10n into 20 minus 2n. Okay. Now you can multiply, form the equation, and then you can differentiate it. Okay. Okay, let me just complete it for you. So what is going to be 60 into 20 is 1200. 60 minus 2n is minus 120n. 10n into 200 is plus 200n minus 20n square. Okay. This is the revenue function. Okay. So if I have to find the maximum or minimum, I will differentiate. So what will be r dash? If I differentiate with respect to x, constant is 0. Okay, this is 80n. This is effectively 80n. So 80n minus 20n square, which means 80n will be differential, will be 80 minus 40n. For maxima or minima, this should be equal to 0. Okay, which implies 80 is equal to 40n or n is equal to 2. At n equal to, do you have maxima minima? Check for the second differential. What is the second differential? Second differential is minus 40. Since the second differential is negative, it means it's a maxima. If the second differential was positive, it would be minima. So at n equal to 2, you will have the maximum possible revenue. For n equal to 2, what does that mean? The quantity will be 60 plus 20 80. Okay. Now this is not the method prescribed for choices. This should be used only if there were no choices in front of you. If it was a theta, then you could consider doing the question in this manner. Area of all 5 faces of a regular pyramid with square base is the same. If the height of the pyramid is 6, what is the total area in square centimeter of all the triangular faces? Now I picked up this question not because there's some jugaad, because this is a place where people unnecessarily waste time. Okay. If I have to find the area of the triangular faces, what do I need? I need base and the altitude or the height. Okay. Now if I have this as a triangular face, the height is going to be this. I need this. Most of the time what students do is they calculate the slant height first and then using the slant height find the altitude. But you can get the altitude directly. After all, base is nothing but side of the square. Okay. Let me just draw it. This will need some kind of visualization and I hope I will be able to explain it. Okay. So, yeah. Okay. Now this is the base. If I say the side of the base is 2x. Why am I saying 2x? Because I need to divide by half. Now where will the this is the center of the base. Now the altitude will be coming out from here perpendicular. So it is coming out of the screen in a way for you. Okay. And on this side, on each of these sides there will be a triangle. Okay. So what would happen is the altitude of 6, this is the altitude of 6, this is x, and the height of the or the altitude of the triangle will be a right angle triangle. So what is this going to be? This is going to be under root of 6 square plus x square. So under root of 36 plus x square. Right? So what is the area of this going to be? Area is half base into height. Okay. Area of the triangle again will be something like this. Okay. So if you look at the area of the triangle, let me just erase this again. Okay. So area of the triangular face, base will be 2x, height is we have just calculated to be under root of 36 plus x square. This is the altitude. So base is going to be half into 2x into under root of 36 plus x square. This should be equal to area of the base because all 5 faces have the same area, which is nothing but 4x square. Okay. Which is nothing but 4x square. So what is this going to be? Okay. So if I square both sides, what do I get? 36 plus x square is equal to 16x square, or 15x square is equal to 36. This is what we have found. What do we need to calculate? You need to calculate the total area of the triangular faces. Area of the base is 4x square. Base has an area of 4x square. What do we need to find? We need to find the area of triangular faces. Each triangular face is also 4x square. So 4 triangular faces will be 4 into 4x square, which is equal to 16x square. I know 15x square is 36. We need to find 16x square. It should be slightly more. This should be the answer. If you want to calculate, 15x square is 36. So 16x square should be 36 into 16 upon 15. Right? 3 5s are 15, 3 12s are 12 into 16 upon 5. Okay. 12 into 16 upon 5 will be 160, 192, 192 by 5. Or 384 by 10. 38.4. Okay. The critical thing is to understand that the altitude of the face, the triangular face. Okay, let me just write it down. The altitude of the triangular face, I'll repeat, altitude of the triangular face, okay, height of the pyramid, and half of the base, half of the side, they form a right angle triangle. They form a right angle triangle, and this is what cuts down your work. Secondly, remember the area of the all the triangular faces will be, if each side, if the area of the base, each side of the base is 2x, area of the base becomes 4x square, or triangular faces together will be 16x square. Okay. Another thing which I want you to look at in terms of the choices, okay, something which most people miss out on the way the choices are created. Okay. What is 48? And what is 38.4? And what is 9.6? Okay. 9.6 is the area of one face, each face, right? 38.4, sorry, 48 is area of triangular faces plus the base. All of them are equal, so this is 5, and this is the area of the triangular faces. Okay. So you could have also said in the question, after all, if the question is asking me to find the area of 5 faces, then most probably a question should have area of one face. The choices will have area of one face, area of 5 faces, and area of 4 faces, all of them. Okay. This in any case was incorrect. This was completely out of range. But this is nothing but double of the correct answer. Okay. So you could have looked at the choices also and said, okay, most probably choice C is going to be the answer. In a triangle ABC, we can draw a line parallel to the base AC, either through point or X or Y as shown, not to, okay, figure is not to scale. The area of the resulting shaded regions are the same. If the ratio of BX to XA is 12 is to 1, so if BX is 12, XA is 1, or AB is going to be 13. Okay. What is the area, or what is the ratio of BY to YA? Okay, we know that the area of the two shaded regions is the same. So what is this area ratio? Let me say, if you look at the smaller triangle and the bigger triangle, this is the smaller triangle and this is the bigger triangle. If you look at both these triangles, what can we say about the ratio of sides? The ratio of sides is 12 is to 13. If the ratio of sides is 12 is to 13, that means the ratio of area will be 144 is to 169. Which means if the total area of triangle ABC is 169, the area of this unshaded portion in the first triangle is 144. So what should be this area? It should be 169 minus 144, 25. What that tells you is this area should be 25. Okay. Now if this area is 25 and area of the entire triangle is 169, isn't it? Because it's the same triangle ABC. If this is 25, the area, again, area ratio of the small triangles is 25 is to 169. So the ratio of sides will be square root of the same, 5 is to 13. That means if this is 5, this entire thing is 18, this should be 8. Okay. So what should be the ratio of BY to YA? It should be 5 is to 8. Ratios are very, very useful. Please make sure you are thorough with it. Contractor employs 400 men to construct a bridge. They complete 5/7 of the work in 10 weeks, after which the work gets suspended for 2 weeks because of heavy rain, and 1/4 of the work already done is washed away. After the rain, when the work is resumed, only 65% of the workforce turns up. What is the total time in which the contractor completes the work? Now, such questions, people tend to make equations. Keep it simple. Assume a quantity of work. So, since it is talking about 5/7 of the work, let me assume the quantity of work to be 70 units. If the quantity of work is 70 units, which is a multiple of 7, then 5/7 of the work will be 50 units. Okay. So, as per the question, in the first 10 weeks, 50 units of work is done. Right? Next 2 weeks, what happens? Next 2 weeks, heavy rain, no work gets done, but 1/4 of the work already done gets washed away. So, minus 12.5 units. So, what have you done? You have been able to do in 12.5 weeks, in 12 weeks, only 37.5 units of the work. The total work is 70 units. So how much work is there left? The work left is 32.5 units. Okay. Now what is 32.5? Out of 50 units, okay, if 50 is to 35 is nothing but 100 is to 65. This is 65%. So if the same number of people had turned up, then these 32.5 units of work would have been done in 6.5 weeks. Okay, if all men had turned up. But how many have turned up? Only 65% have turned up. So the number of weeks required will be 6.5 upon 0.65, which is equal to 10 weeks. So 10 plus 2, 12 plus 10, 22. 22 weeks is going to be the answer. The key thing again here is to keep your calculation simple. Assume a quantity of work which is a multiple of 7, and which is why I took 70. And then I just went through the process, keeping in mind that 32.5 is 65% of 50. So if 50 units take 10 weeks, 32.5 will take 65% of 10 weeks, which is 6.5 weeks. But since only 65% of workforce has turned up, that means the total time taken by the 65% of the people will be 10 weeks. A bus travels from bus stop A at 2/3 of its normal speed and reaches the bus stop at B 20 minutes after the scheduled time. On its return journey, the bus initially traveled from bus stop B at its usual speed for 10 minutes, but then stopped for 6 minutes due to minor accident. The percentage by which the bus must now increase the normal speed so as to reach the bus stop A at the scheduled time. Please don't get speed into it. Work only on the basis of time. Okay. Let me explain how. Okay. Bus went at 2/3 the normal speed and hence reached 20 minutes after scheduled time. If the speed has become 2/3, then instead of time t, it is going to take 3/2 of t. 3/2. The time will become 3/2 times. If time has become 3/2 times, that means the extra time taken is equal to t/2. 3/2 minus 3/2 t minus t. And as per the question, this is 20 minutes. So at the normal speed, the bus would have taken 40 minutes. So So if the speed was normal, it would have taken t minutes or 40 minutes. Because the speed became 2/3, the time became 3/2 time. Okay. Now what happens? So the normal speed 40 minutes. So return journey, the bus initially traveled from bus stop B at its usual speed for 10 minutes. So in the return journey, it has to do 40 minutes. It has 40 minutes at its normal speed. First it does 10 minutes at the normal speed. No issues at all, it is on time. Okay. But then stop 6 minutes due to minor accident. And again 6 minutes gone. So what are you left with? You have to cover 30-minute distance. A distance which at the normal speed would have been covered in 30 minutes. Now you have to cover this distance in 40 minus 16, 24 minutes. I hope this is clear. That at the normal speed, had you not wasted these 6 minutes, you would have taken 30 minutes. But since you have wasted these 6 minutes, now you have only 24 minutes to cover the 30-minute distance. So how much should you increase your speed? Your speed should become 30/24 times. Which means 6 4s are 6 5s are 5/4 times or 1.25 times, or speed has to go up by 25%. So such questions unnecessarily, please don't get into the habit of converting everything to speed. Okay. Time and speed are inversely proportional. Use that concept to reduce your calculation effort. Cost of milk is ₹20 per liter, and milkman has 2 vessels having milk and water in a mixture such that the cost per liter of first vessel is ₹4 and from the second vessel is ₹16. Assume water is free of cost. Find the ratio in which these are to be mixed to get a new mixture in which the ratio of milk to water is 1:3. Straightforward, simple question. Again, many of you will be able to do it. I am just looking at saving of time. If pure milk is ₹20 per liter, that means if it is ₹4 per liter, this will have only 20% milk. And if it is ₹16 a liter, it will have 16/20, 80% milk. Because water is free. Okay. Now what are you doing? You are mixing 20% milk with 80% milk such that overall you get 25% milk. Simple question of allegation. The rest of stuff is fine. This was the only area which I wanted to explain. 5 is to 80 minus 20, 60, 55. Yeah, so 11 is to 1. So the find the ratio in which these have to mix. These have to mix in the ratio of 11 is to 1. A mobile dealer orders 60 Pixel X phones to be sold at rupees 25,000 rupees each, which represents a 20% markup over the dealer's initial cost for each phone. Of the mobiles ordered, 6 were never sold and were returned to the manufacturer for a refund of 50% of the dealer's initial cost. What was the dealer's profit or loss as a percentage of the dealer's initial cost for the 60 mobiles? Now, in this question, there is a number which people unnecessarily pick up and waste a lot of time. They start calculating based on 25,000 rupees. They say his selling price should be 25,000 rupees, cost price should be 25 upon 1.2, and then they do all kinds of calculations. Now, but please look at the answer choices or what the question is asking for. Question is not asking for the amount, it is asking for profit or loss as a percentage. So if I am looking for percentage profit loss, why do I need this value? I could work on a base of 100 itself. Okay, so let's do this question without worrying about this stupid number called 25,000 rupees. Okay, now this is a question of weighted average, not anything else. Okay, so 6 were never sold. Out of 60, 10% or 1/10 were not sold at all, and they were returned to the manufacturer for a refund of 50%. That means there is a loss of 50% on these. You purchased these phones for 100 rupees, you got 50 rupees. So on each of these 6 phones which you have returned, you have lost 50%. So 1/10 of the phones are sold at a loss of 50% in a way. The remaining 9/10 of the phones are sold at a profit of 20%. Okay. This is what we need to find. So how much does it become? This becomes minus 5 plus 18, which is equal to minus 13%. A 60-second question. If you get unnecessarily confused with this amount of 25,000 rupees, you will unnecessarily convert this into a lengthy question which has got lots of calculation, and you will also possibly start making mistakes in your calculation. Raghav covers a distance of 2400 kilometers by flight, bus, taxi in the ratio of 8:3:1 respectively, and charges per kilometer for each of these modes of transports are in the ratio of 12:5:9 respectively. If he paid rupees 360 for the taxi ride, what was the average cost per kilometer of the journey? Now to keep your calculation simple and to make sure you don't waste a lot of time, please don't calculate, write down all the numbers. Okay. Let me explain what I am talking about. Okay, first thing, the ratio of distance is 8:3:1. This is for flight, bus, taxi. Okay, ratio of distance is 8:3:1. Okay, and what is the ratio of charges per kilometer charges? Charges per kilometer, they are 12:5:9. That means the total fare, total cost, ratio of the cost will be 12 into 8, 96, because distance into charges. If it is 8 kilometers and you are paying 10 rupees per kilometer, it will be 8 into 10 rupees per kilometer, or 80 rupees. That's exactly what I am doing. So ratio of cost of fare of flight to bus is 15, 5:3, and 9:1, 9. Okay. So if I say this is the cost, then the total cost will be 98 and 15 is 12, 8 is 96. What am I doing out here? I was wondering why am I getting such a strange figure? Yeah, 96 and 9, 105, and 15, 120. Okay. So what do we need? We need the average cost per kilometer for the entire journey. So average cost per kilometer for the entire journey means divide by the length of the journey, which is 2,400. What is the total cost? For taxi it is 360. Right? He paid 360 rupees for the taxi. This is into 40, 9 into 40. So the total cost should be 120 into 40. So it should be 120 into 40 upon 2400. Please don't waste your time by calculating 120 into 40. Not that it is difficult calculation, but it should not be done. Okay. So 120 to 2 rupees a kilometer. Please write down the equation first and then start cancelling out. Don't do the stupid calculation initially. Okay. Just write down the numbers. It will help you save a lot of time. There's another question which lots of time wastage happen because people don't calculate the way they should be. Let me explain again. In a state, the unemployment rate among school teachers dropped from 18% in 2015 to 12% in 2016. If the number of school teachers was 24% greater in 2016 than in 2015, what is the approximate percentage change in the number of unemployed school teachers over the period? Okay. So, 2015, 2016. If there are total of 100 school teachers in 2015, then the unemployed teachers would be 18% or 18. In 2016, the number of school teachers increased by 24%, so it becomes 124. Okay. And the unemployment rate came down to 12%. So how many unemployed are there? This is 12% of 124. Okay. So what is the approximate percentage change in number of unemployed school teachers? What do we need to calculate? Unemployed school teachers in 2016 upon unemployed school teachers in 2015 minus 1 into 100. This is what we need to calculate. And again, I am not going to do the calculation. I am not going to calculate this value. I am just going to put the numbers as it is. So 12% of 124 will be 12 into 124 upon 100 divided by number of unemployed school teachers in 2015. So into 18 minus 1 into 100. This is what I want to calculate. Now your calculation again will be easier. 6 into 2 is 12. 6 into 3 is 18. Okay. So 124 is not a multiple of 3, but I can call it 123. If I call it 123, it becomes 41. So instead of 124, I am working with 123. So what does it become? 41. So it becomes 41 into 2 upon 100 or 0.82 minus 1 into 100. So which is equal to 18%. Now is it a decline or increase? In fact, we should have seen it. This is a case of decrease. It is a minus, a negative thing. 0.82 minus 1 is minus 0.18. So 18% decrease. Now look at the choices. Increase is out. Increase is out. This should be the answer. Okay. Why 17.33? Because I reduced 124 to 123. Had I gone with 124 instead of 0.82, I would have a slightly bigger number. So my answer has to be slightly less than 18% decrease. So which is why 17.33% should be the answer.